Did you know the history of the light bulb is filled with drama, rivalry, and billion-dollar ideas? Did you know how expensive the initially invented light bulb was? The materials were so costly that it would be unimaginable to afford them today. Prepare to be shocked by the true story behind this everyday object. We'll reveal the forgotten geniuses who lit the way and the fierce battles for patents. By the end of this video, you'll never look at a light switch the same way again. Ready to have your mind illuminated? Let's dive in. Let's start at the very beginning. The story of the light bulb doesn't start with just one person. It's a tale of many brilliant minds working over many years. In 1761, that's about 250 years ago, Ebenezer Kinnersley was the first to demonstrate electric light. He was a scientist and friend of Benjamin Franklin. Franklin was the one who conducted a dangerous experiment by flying a kite with a metal key in a thunderstorm and proved lightning was actually electricity. Please watch our detailed episode on the history of electricity on our channel. Ebenezer Kinnersley showed that electricity could produce light. He created a special glass tube filled with air and passed an electric charge through it, making it glow with a bright flash. This was one of the first demonstrations of electric light in history. But it wasn't until 1820 that Warren de la Rue created an early bulb using a platinum filament. He enclosed a platinum coil in a vacuum tube and passed an electric current through it, making it one of the first incandescent bulbs. While the platinum worked well because of its high melting point, its expense made it impractical for commercial use. In 1838, Belgian inventor Marcellin Jobard made a light bulb with a carbon filament instead of platinum in a partial vacuum. This was a big step forward. He tackled two major challenges: finding a cheaper filament material and reducing the filament's oxidation. The partial vacuum meant there was less oxygen to react with the hot filament, helping it last longer. In 1860, Joseph Swan marked an important step in the evolution of the light bulb. Working in England, he experimented with carbonized paper filaments placed in partially evacuated glass bulbs. His design showed promise. When electricity passed through the carbonized paper, it would glow brightly due to its resistance to the electrical current. However, the main problem was the inadequate vacuum in the glass bulb. The vacuum pumps of that era weren't powerful enough to remove enough air from the bulb, so the remaining oxygen would react with the hot filament, quickly causing it to burn out. The bulbs typically only lasted for a few hours before failing. Swan didn't give up though. He continued refining his design over the next 2 decades. By 1878, after better vacuum pumps became available, he was able to create much more practical bulbs using improved cotton thread filaments and better vacuums. This led to him installing light bulbs in his own home in Gateshead, England, making it the first house in the world to be lit by electric light bulbs. Then came the famous Thomas Edison in 1879. He and his team tested over 6,000 plant materials to find the perfect filament. They settled on carbonized bamboo, which could burn for 40 hours. Edison's bulb was a game changer. It was the first that could be mass-produced and sold to the public. When Edison developed his own bulb design, Swan actually sued him for patent infringement in the UK. Eventually, they joined forces, which led to them forming a joint company called Edison Swan, later known as Ediswan, in 1883. In the early 1900s, the light bulb went through major improvements that made it much better than the original vacuum bulbs. William David Coolidge made a big breakthrough when he figured out how to use tungsten for filaments. This metal could get much hotter than carbon without breaking. Then, around 1913, Irving Langmuir made another huge step forward by adding nitrogen gas inside the bulb instead of keeping it empty. This gas-filled design was a game changer because it let the tungsten filament burn even brighter without burning out quickly. The gas actually protected the filament and prevented it from evaporating as fast as it did in vacuum bulbs. Later, companies started using argon and other inert gases that worked even better. These changes made light bulbs both brighter and more energy efficient, and they became much more like the ones we used throughout most of the 20th century. Then came halogen bulbs, fluorescent lamps, and finally LED lights. LEDs, or light-emitting diodes, are the latest revolution in lighting. They use way less energy than old-fashioned bulbs and can last for thousands of hours. Now, let's talk about the patent wars. In the early days of the light bulb, there were many fights over who owned the rights to make and sell them. Edison got a patent for his light bulb design in 1880, but he soon ran into trouble. Another company, the Consolidated Electric Light Company, claimed that Edison's idea wasn't new. They said other inventors like William Sawyer and Alban Mann had already come up with similar designs. In 1883, the U.S. Patent Office agreed and canceled Edison's patent. This showed that no one person could take all the credit for inventing the light bulb, as it was developed step by step by many different people. Even though this was a big setback for Edison's company, they kept fighting to protect their other patents. The battle for control over the light bulb industry became very heated. Edison's company was especially tough on its competitors, taking hundreds of them to court and either forcing them out of business or buying them out. In 1892, Edison's company joined forces with another big company called Thomson-Houston Electric Company to form General Electric. They did this partly to stop fighting over patents and to become stronger together. This showed how companies could use patents not just to protect their inventions, but also to gain power in the market. Instead of many companies fighting each other in court, the industry changed to having a few large companies in control. Well, the impact of light bulbs goes beyond just lighting our homes. It became a powerful symbol in our culture. Think about how we use the phrase light bulb moment to describe a sudden idea. The light bulb changed how we live and work. It allowed us to be productive after dark and made our streets safer at night. It truly lit the way for modern society. Next time you flip a switch, remember the long line of inventors and innovators who made that moment of light possible. Thanks for watching The Illuminating History of the Light Bulb. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more enlightening content.